you a very quick introduction about the next person that I'm going to be inviting. She'll be speaking about the title that she's be speaking about is "Don't Let Your Business Get Stuck at Home with You." And I'll be inviting Sujitra Kumar, the fighter pilot engine mailer. So, hi, Sujitra. I told you're
Hi.
cute, so
Yeah, that was
that was
today.
that was a tongue twister, but it's okay. I'll just keep it as cute. You
Yeah,
do
it's
look
okay.
cute.
No worries. I take it as a compliment. I
Yeah,
don't put
thank you
makeup
so much.
today. Okay.
You look very nice. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much
You
for
too.
joining us at
Yeah.
Engine Mailer.
Yeah.
Great to meet you again. We met at
Yes.
Digital Fest as well. So thank
Yeah.
you
That
so
was the
much for
first one.
joining us and come again.
No, no, no. Go ahead.
Okay. How are you?
I'm good. Okay. Surviving.
Okay. I think we're very glad to have you keep giving us the support to Exabyte or to all the conference that you're doing in regards to sharing your inputs and your insights on how we can survive in terms of business, in terms of individual growth and all during this time. So thank you so much for joining us once again. And
Yeah. Thank
you're
you.
about 45 minutes and the last 15 minutes is for the Q&A.
Yeah.
So anytime when you're ready, you can share a screen and you'll be sharing us about don't let your business get stuck at home with you. Right?
Yes. Correct. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I'm just gonna like beam up my screen. Okay, so hello everyone. I hope you all are staying safe and healthy. So for today, if you have attended the previous one, I talked specifically about engine mailer, but today I'm going to be sharing things that you can actually do especially during these times. I think there are a lot of questions that people are asking is what should I do? What should I do right now? What is the next steps, because we are in a very unpredictable, unprecedented time. So for today, I'm just basically going to touch about how to actually get it moving, right? And before I touch on email marketing, we must first think about how are we going to put the message across, right? What kind of tone that you have to look into. And our first aim is to strengthen the relationships that you have right now. Because we are at a sensitive times, it is very a lot of customers out there. They are probably very vulnerable. They are anxious. So this is the time when we have to reach out to them and tell them, hey, even though we are going through a tight time as well, but we are in this together. So how do we actually strengthen relationships? Through empathy. Hearing that I hear you, I know the situation that you're going through, I am going through the same things, and let's figure these things out together. So Mackenzie actually came out with a way on how to actually connect with your customers. And I think this is personally is a very useful key actions that you can actually take note. It's of course divided into 4 things. Firstly is on individual safety. Secondly is security and stability. Third is convenience and easy of use. And last but not least, emotional bond and feeling of trust. So these are actually the fundamental things in the first, like at the very beginning of doing marketing in the first place. I think it has always been there. It's just that right now, it is crucial that we actually really, really look into it. So let's take a look into individual safety first. So these are the 2 things, actions, samples that you can actually look into emotionally connect with your customers. Firstly is, of course, to minimize the risk of physical interactions. So when I mention this, I'm sure you would have already thought about a few brands that are doing it already. And secondly would be actively contributing to the safety by innovating the product portfolio. So I think a very good example would be a beauty industry. Right now, it's probably a lot of them put a halt into their manufacturing because not many people are going to be purchasing a lot of makeup stuff, for example. So people like, if I give a very good example, is this high-end product called Louis Vuitton. I know that not all of us can afford it, but it's a very good example in the sense that they converted their beauty manufacturing into converting it into supplying hand sanitizers to health institutions, you know? So this is actually one of the good examples that I can think of right now. And secondly would be to look into security and stability. So security and stability, the two things that we can do under it is providing help to customers with financial distress. And the second one would be to bring joy and supporting emotional needs of customers trapped at home. So the fourth one would be, the third one would be convenience and ease of use. And in this way, you can promote and guide the shift of online to online channels. So some business, if you notice, they have always been offline. So now they're actually moving slowly to online. And how they're actually doing it? By guiding the people and telling them. So you notice that there's a lot of notices on social media. They are ramping it up, telling people and announcing to people that we are now online. You can purchase it here. You can purchase it here. This is the alternatives. And last but not least is, again, like I mentioned, emotional bond and feeling of trust. So ensuring that you are reachable to them. So if there's any issues or any questions, it's easy to get in touch with you. And of course, caring about the community through genuine company values. So at the end of the day, you just have to ask yourself why you're doing this in the first place. Okay? So so this is actually a very good reference in ways that you can actually connect with your customers emotionally. And I am actually going to take a few examples of companies that's actually done that. For example, for Microsoft, they identified that because of the crisis that we're going through, and a lot of people are going to be working from home, so they have provided a free usage for their Microsoft Teams. And secondly would be ZALORA, which I personally experience because, I like to shop. And one day I decided to shop really late at night. I know you'll be wondering why am I shopping late at night. But at 11 something, I had an issue. And I was like, what am I going to do? I want to purchase this. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to try and chat with them live. And to my surprise, they were actually on until 12 a.m. They actually have a customer support until 12. And they were very prompt, they were very helpful, and it made me feel good. Thirdly would be Post Malaysia. As some of you are probably aware, they are giving out commissions to those that are wanting or willing to do delivery for them. So Post Malaysia actually addressed two things. One is to create job opportunities to people. And secondly, they have addressed the demand for the delivery. Fourth would be Grab. And Grab will be the contactless delivery. So they have provided an option to their customers on how do they want it to be delivered. Maybe they asked to actually prepare a special place for them to actually drop off the delivery and stuff like that. So these are the things that actually Grab came out with, and security measures, safety measures. Fifth would be Amazon. So Amazon knew that parents are going to be staying at home most of the time and their kids are going to be running around and stuff like that. So they need distractions. So that's why they came out with free kids streaming shows. So that's for Amazon. And last but not least is Lazada. So Lazada, I got to hand it to them. With my personal experience, I actually order a lot of my parcels and it goes to my office. So, and it was at a time when we didn't even know that MCO was going to happen. And all of a sudden, it was just announced at that time. And I was like, oh my God, I've ordered like a week ago. My parcel has not arrived and I put it in the office. So what Lazada has done is that they have identified all the addresses that is under office addresses, and they have ensured that everyone that has ordered has been contacted personally to inform them that they've noticed this is an office address, and would you like to change it to your residential address at no charge, which is fantastic, you know. So and this is it's a small gesture, but for us it's a huge thing, you know, because they took that one step in front to actually think for us before even I realized, like, oh my god, I put my office address, but next thing you know, I got a notification saying that due to this MCO, we have reroute all our deliveries to ensure that it gets delivered to you. Okay, so now we have already understood the whole situation and what kind of messaging that we have to go to. Now we have to ask ourselves, why email marketing in the first place? So this is something that I always put in my slides because it's a good reminder for everyone. And secondly, for those who are beginners or don't know, this is a good point for you to take so that you can know whether or evaluate whether email marketing actually makes sense for your business. So firstly, emails are actually a tool that it can help in terms of conversion. Sorry. So what do we mean by that, right? Is people used to think that, oh, is email another tool, like an alternative to social media? No, it's not. Emails are not used for mass brand awareness. That is the wrong way to do it. Emails are actually used as when you acquire someone from this brand awareness and they show interest, that's when you start communicating with them through emails. And once you consistently communicate with them, people like how you are prompt, they will definitely convert into being your customers. Secondly, it is cost effective. So emails is considered to be one of the cheapest tools. It also depends on which email marketing platforms that you actually use, of course. So at the end of the day, it's about you researching and finding out the options that you have, and then making sure that it meets whatever tools or features that they offer meets the objectives of your business. Thirdly, it is quantifiable. So what do we mean by quantifiable? The reports. You know that when you send to 1,000 people, how many people gets delivered, how many people opens it, how many people click, and what they click on. You get to know what is the most famous items that they actually like. So from there, you'll be able to position it in all your other channels. Fourth will be the data is for you to keep. So the reason why I say this is because your emails are all your data. No one is going to take it from you. If you go on Facebook, if you go on Instagram, all the thousands of followers is just going to be stuck there. And once it's gone, it's just gone. The only way that you can retrieve it is if you accumulate the data from whoever that actually follows you on Facebook or follows you on Instagram. Lastly would be highly customizable for personalized content. So this only works if you ensure from the very beginning, you identify what important data to actually accumulate from your customers. Secondly, what are you going to do with this data in the first place? So when you ask all these questions and you know these answers, then you can already able to customize all your contents because you know who they are, you know what they have to be segmented into or categorized into. What kind of messaging should you send to them? You know, it's no more about sending one generic message to everyone, especially in times like this. You need to make sure that you segmentize your contacts to make sure that you send the right messages and not at the wrong time. And for example, we are now stuck at home. Sending happy birthday wishes to everyone is just really not a good idea. So yeah, so now I'm just going to share some basic statistics in terms of lead generation and also custom, if you do personalized contents. So the first one would be personalized subject lines. So personalized subject lines, what we mean by this is, for example, hi Suchi, this is something special for you, or we came up with a plan that's special for you. the tendency of me wanting to click on that would definitely be higher rather than something that sounds very impersonal. Secondly, would be targeted and personalized email tools can increase 45% in lead generation. So when you use email tools that allows you to personalize not only in names but also like in type of contents, you're able to target, you identify in different categories, please do so, because that will definitely increase in terms of your lead generation. Thirdly, lead nurturing and nurtured leads produce average 20% increase in sales opportunities as compared to non-nurtured leads. And last but not least, nurtured leads make 47% larger purchase as compared to non-nurtured leads. So previously, Faisal also mentioned about abandoned carts. So abandoned carts, and I do agree with him. I think that people actually sometimes tend to forget that they've put something in their cart, and by sending them a reminder actually do help. And this reminder is just a small implementations that you just have to put in your whole customer journey. And with this, you'll be able to increase your sales, definitely. Okay, so now we go into the do's and don'ts and best practices. So what are the do's, especially during this time? Firstly, you have to, if you can, and if you notice that your normal services impacted, it is a must and it is encouraged for you to send updates to your customers. Because if you keep quiet, they're going to be wondering, okay, I've spent money, I put money in this service, I put money in this company, but they're not giving me any updates. They're not telling me that maybe business is as usual, or there was measures taken to actually make sure that everything is business as usual. And what you have done, provide impact on what is it. Let them know what is the impact on the company, what's the impact on them. I think at the end of the day, people appreciate honesty, you know. So, and yeah, honesty is the best policy. So yeah, right now is a good time to actually tell them that this is what we are going through, this is what we are doing, and as for you, this is what has been impacted, but we are doing this for you. And lastly would be to provide available support channels. So when you do all this, like the impacts and stuff, I'm sure that they actually have questions. They want to know immediately. And that's where you actually have to provide the available channels for them to actually reach out to you. Do also provide options and alternatives online. So if, for example, I'll give a very good example, like a fitness center, they can't operate anymore physically. So what they have done is that they have converted everything to be online. They run sections in Zoom. They run sections in Instagram Live. So to keep people going and to ensure that by the time all this is over, people still remember them. People still going to go back to them. Number 3 is have all important information clean and visible on your website. When you have information like number 1 and number 2, and you only keep it at one certain channel, it's not going to work. And it's very important for you to put it somewhere which is permanent, and people are easy to refer to. And the best place is actually your website. So the reason why I asked Faisal is because the question is whether it is mandatory or not, or is a must. It's because we have the tendency of doing it just for the sake of doing it, because everyone is doing it. So you only need to put on your website if there is a purpose to your business or it makes sense to your business. So if there's any measures being taken, or the impact that's happening, or the other alternative support channels, please put it on your website as well. Because at the end of the day, people are not going to just refer back to the emails or search for emails. They open it one time, they read it, then they go somewhere else. That's the whole point of emails, is to just send an overview about something and then you take them somewhere. Fourth would be choose your words wisely. We are at sensitive times again, like I mentioned. So it's very important for you to put your words right. And next would be review all email campaigns and automated emails. So if you're already doing any email campaigns or you have put any automated emails in place, please review the content because there might be a chance that it is not appropriate during this time. Now for the don'ts. Re-engage with old leads. We are all panicking. We are all like, okay, what we're going to do? We want to create more sales. Okay, I'm going to dig up on all my old leads out there and send out a random email to them. Don't do that because that affects your brand. So make sure that whoever that you want to re-engage with is someone that is fairly, that either knows you personally or they have dealt with you quite recent. And lastly, don't send out for the sake of it, as I mentioned. Find the right purpose and remember your why. So what I mean by remember your why is what's the reason of you running this, providing this service in the first place? What's the reason that you came out with this product in the first place? It's obviously to address a challenge or a pain point that the consumers are facing, you know. So it's not about wanting to sell your services or your products anymore. It's about what's the reason why you came out with it in the first place. So with that said, for the do's and don'ts, at the end of the day, especially for email marketing, you must always follow the best practices. And this is something that has to be done and consistent. So the first thing that you have to do is make sure that you clean your email list. I think if anyone has gone through my presentations before, this has always been my standard standard best practices, and I'll never change it because this is something that it's something that you should follow. Firstly, of course, is okay. So go back to this. It's to clean your email list, and the reason why you have to do this is because you want to avoid high heart bounce rates. And what do I mean by this is that if you accumulate a lot of emails along the way, some people will not be using their emails anymore. And when you send out and you have very high heart bounce rates, this can actually affect your domain reputation. And domain reputation is another different conversation altogether, but it's something which is very vital to your business. Secondly would be segmentations. So you want to identify who is who, so that from there you'll be able to know what do they want to hear from you and where you should take them to. Okay. Thirdly would be to have double opt-ins for new subscribers. So some I know we have noticed that some websites, what they have done is that they do have a subscribe newsletter, but they do not have a double opt-in layer. So what do we mean by this is that when you submit your email, you will receive a verify your email or in your inbox. Now, the reason why they do this is so that they ensure that you are not putting any Tom, Dick, and Harry's email. And it's very good, even though it sounds an extra layer for that person, but it helps for you to maintain your list. And at the end of the day, if that person is wanting to really hear from you, they wouldn't mind just verifying your email anyway. Fourth would be to allow people to unsubscribe easily. I still see emails that do not have the unsubscribe button, or they have the unsubscribe button, but it doesn't work. And this actually will create frustrations to people, and they will slowly, eventually, will click, this is spam. So when you notice, like when you go to Gmail, you see this small little button marked as spam, and it seems harmless. You just click on it, and that's it. But it is so fatal to those that are actually sending it, because once a lot of people start clicking on it, your domain will definitely be blacklisted, and it will take a while or a very long time for you to get able to even use that domain back. Next, okay, so this one is a lot of questions to be asked, like, oh my God, like 1 or 4 times per week, that's good, that's a lot. Is it a must for us to follow this? The answer is no, not necessarily. And the reason is because if you do not have enough contents to send to people, then don't. If you have a lot of contents, that's when it's relevant for you to break it up. Okay, so but then make sure that you are consistent in sending newsletters. If you're sending it once and then 6 months you don't send anything, then it is I will feel that personally it's very redundant, and consistency is actually very good in this sense. So how are you going to be consistent, right? What kind of information that you can send? Which is the one that's next, but before that is always have CTA buttons. So campaign emails is not meant just to send notification. Notifications is more for real-time triggered emails. So for campaigns, you must have at least one CTA button where you want to take them. And the question that's being asked to me commonly is that, okay, Suchi, I'm sending out an email, but I'm not running any special campaigns. So I don't have a microsite, or I only have Facebook, and I only have my current website, which is just all the information is there. So why not? Why just direct all your traffic to your website? Because who knows, when they end up in your website, they are just browsing through, they might see something that they like. Okay, so this is the one that I wanted to touch. Don't do hard sale, educate them. And this has always been an advice that we give to all our customers, to always educate the people first. Because trust comes when they know that you are the person that knows what you're talking about, knows about your services, understands the situation that they're in. You educate them more. You tell them that, okay, this is the situation, this is the solution, this is the problem, this is the solution. And if you want to know more, we can give you a consultation, for example. And then only you start selling your products. So it's more of a subtle way rather than a hardcore sale. Lastly, avoid spam-triggered subject lines. So things like free and discounts, 100%. I think the best example is you go to your inbox and just go to your spam folder. That is the great example of things that you shouldn't do. But also I'll be sharing you later on. I'll just pass the link. And HubSpot actually written an article about example of subject lines that you should avoid. And I think it's a very good article that you can refer to. And of course, ensure that your characters are within what I mentioned here, less than 150 characters, or best is at 30 to 40 characters. Now, the reason why we put this is because of mobile view. So most people right now actually browse everything on their mobile. And to ensure that it actually looks nice and it fits great, this is actually the ideal characters that we advise for you to look into. So yes, and that actually ends my presentation. And yeah, so basically let's do this together. And thank you everyone for this. So do we have any questions?
Yeah, we have questions.
Okay, wait. Let me just stop sharing.
Okay.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. For new businesses, what is the best way to collect emails?
Okay, so for new businesses, we would advise you to, of course, have it on your website. If you do not have any contents yet on your website, it is always good to have a teaser and then put, if you want to know more or you want to keep up with more updates or know when the product is launching, please subscribe to our newsletter. Okay, that's one way to actually put is your website. Secondly, if you're actually running any social media brand awareness, you can always accumulate data through forms. So majority, you can either use Google Forms, or you can actually pick any built-in forms available, free ones online, like Engine Mailer. We have built-in forms. So you can use that as well. So yeah, these are actually the two ways that one of the two ways that you can actually use to collect emails.
Okay. The following question is, where do you get the customer's email?
Where do I get the customer's email?
Yeah.
Okay, this is where all your social media efforts comes in. It's all about inbound marketing and how you
Mhm.
actually plan your whole digital marketing strategy. So when you plan all that, people you want to draw people to go somewhere, and usually the best avenue is through your website, because that's where you represent yourself. That's where you
Mhm.
put all your information about you. That's where you actually convince people that you are the one, that you know your business, you know what you're talking about. If you invest in me, it's worth it. So that's the way. We would not encourage people to buy emails.
Mhm.
That's for sure. Yeah.
Okay. And most of Asian country people didn't read email. They maybe have, maybe mostly no. And most of them like social media. How do we overcome this email marketing for those who don't actually read email or go to email and open email and all?
Okay, I think at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself this: what makes you open an email?
Email.
Yeah, why do you open emails? It's because one, it is relevant to whatever that you want to hear from them, right?
Mhm.
And
Because
secondly,
I personally, for me, I want to see the updates. So what's upcoming next and stuff like that. So that's why I actually go open emails and all.
correct. And the reason why you do that is because they know what you're interested in. They know that you want to hear a specific topic from them, and
Mm-hmm.
when you do that, when you are able to, that's why we always say, please segmentize and identify what is it that people want to hear from you. Because if
Mm.
I'm sending things that you do not want to hear, eventually I don't even want to hear from you anymore, and I'll end up unsubscribing from you. So
Yeah.
that's why I mentioned that emails are actually not for brand awareness. You should use social media and also your website to actually create that brand awareness. You only, from that way only, then you can convince people that, okay, you know, this is what I'm talking about. I'm going to be sending more information, so why don't you subscribe to my emails?
Mm.
So that is actually the way to do it. You have to gain people's trust first, then only they'll bother to even open your emails.
Yep. True. Hmm. Okay. What is the purpose of having microsite? What is the difference between website and having a microsite?
Okay, so I think this is a question that Faisal should answer, but I will answer. He'll be more pro than me, but
Let me bring Faisal in again.
yeah, it's like he's more pro, but it's okay for, okay. So usually most of our clients actually use microsites if they're actually running a specific campaign. And also I think it's, personally I think it's easier for them to track in terms of traffic,
Mhm.
how many people are going into the specific microsite, and yeah. So, and it only, honestly, it only is if you have budget, of course. Yeah,
Mhm.
but at the end of the day, uh, doing everything in your website is already sufficient. You just have to know how to place it right. So if you're running something during that time, make sure that it's not in the footer, or somewhere hidden. Make sure it's
Mhm.
somewhere at the top, where the first thing that people see when they actually enter the website.
Mhm. Okay. Mm, how often did you all deal with email marketing fraud issues?
Fraud issues, I am assuming, is all the spammers.
Yeah.
Okay, so yes, that we do deal with them quite often previously. But of course, it's very important for the email marketing solution providers to put the security checks in place to ensure that we do not receive this kind of people that actually come in and use our platform to send out those kind of frauds.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What are the tactics that you will all use to deal with those frauds? I think um, that is,
Tactics. Okay. So
yeah, tactics.
Okay, so for that is, firstly, of course, we actually do see the behavior. Most of these spammers, they will only come at one time, and
Mm-hmm.
they will just probably. send to 1 million people at that one time and then they disappear. So I think, to be honest, for us along the way we had to study these behaviors and then put all the security checks in place, for example in the registration layer or the authentication layer. So so those are the things that we do.
Okay. Mm,
Do you
uh,
sell things?
do we sell things inside the email? Like we put a link that leads to customer to a website to sell their particular product?
Yes,
Do we do
yes,
that?
yes. You do. I mean, you can definitely do that. It's not something that you can't do. I think. I mean, a very good example would be, I would have to say, is Cotton On. I buy
Uh-huh.
stuff from Cotton On, and they make it very
Same.
interactive. Yeah, it's like they put gifs. They put what's that, all your items, because at the end of the day, if you're an e-commerce website and people subscribe to you, it's always expected that you would definitely have products that you're going to display
Yeah,
in
I
your
think
ATM.
Sephora also same.
But of course, I won't
They
advise you to put.
they send emails with the
Yeah, it's
promos
like,
and all.
yeah, but they do not show all everything. They only highlight for the first few important things.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Okay. Mm, what makes engine mailer different from Mailchimp or Constant Contact?
Okay, so if in terms of differences, I would say that our pricing is different, especially with the Mailchimp. We do not charge on how many contacts that you upload. We only charge on how many emails you send on a monthly basis, and regardless whether you're a free or paid plan, um, you can upload unlimited subscribers. So our system allows you to segmentize and categorize and create as many subcategories as you want. So this allows you to actually
Mm-hmm.
send very targeted emails. We also have custom fields which you can create. So like your first name, last name. So in the case that if you do not have a CRM system, this is a pretty much like a CRM like,
Mm-hmm.
where you can put your first name, last name. If you have membership numbers, put it in there, or countries. So create whatever that's relevant for
Mm-hmm.
emails and targeting. And also, so that's actually one of the difference with Mailchimp, which is the pricing. And
Mm-hmm.
secondly would be, I think we have different. I mean, at the end of the day, is which is best for you. As I mentioned, it's we can't say that, oh, engine mailer is the best among all. At the end of the day, is it best and good for your business? So we
Mm-hmm.
have autoresponders, we have form builders, we have surveys, and which is something that's sort of related to emails, because people tend to send surveys through emails. So we decided to
Mm-hmm.
build in a survey feature in engine mailer. So, and soon we're actually coming up with an with automation drip campaigns. So hopefully
Mm-hmm.
that's soon. But yeah, so we're working on all these things, and of course we also have local support. I
Mm-hmm.
think that's why right now we are actually focusing on companies here in Malaysia. And one of the challenges that they have using international products is that they don't get the support that they need. So that's something that we want to address also. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And I think with that we've answered the questions. And if you guys have any questions for Sujitra, do put it in the comment section so that we can get her to share more insights about engine mailer as well. And Sujitra, would you like to do any wrap up or any conclusion for your sharing for today?
Yeah, so basically, if you were to see what I presented, I think as much as I want to talk about best practices of emails and stuff, I think at the end of the day, we still need to understand the messaging that we have to put across, the tone that we have to put across, especially right now. We
Mm-hmm.
have to look at what we can do now,
Mm-hmm.
and from here, then be able to know how to actually address it in the future, right?
Mm-hmm.
So of course, that's when I said, empathy and compassion is the way to go. We right now we need to look into strengthening relationships with your customers that you have right now,
Mm-hmm.
telling them that they are here, rather than just finding them only when you need them. So
Yeah. It's about
any
building
comment?
the relationship, like you
Yeah,
mentioned, right?
definitely.
Yeah,
We
we
have
have
one
one
more
more
question.
question. For free account, when we send out email campaign, will there be any engine mailer signature or logo?
For the free account, yes, we do. We even have a daily 500 emails per day cap. You can send a cumulative 10,000 per month, but we have a daily cap of 500. But if you do not want the daily cap and you do not want the emails, our logo, we actually do have an introduction first year paid plan, which is only $9.
Okay. And let me just see if I miss out any question.
More questions, people. More questions.
More questions for Sitra. Okay, if no question, maybe we can go into break. Thank you so much, Sujitra, for joining us and for sharing your
Thank
inputs
you.
about Indian Mailer. Very, it's a pleasure having you on board on
Yeah.
marketing in the new normal. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Nicole, also for arranging this. Bye.
All right. Thank you.
Exabytes. Grow your business online.